Good afternoon, friends. You are welcome to our tutorials today. Today we'll be discussing on anatomy and the aspect known as the thyroid gland. Before we begin this lecture, I'll please remind you to subscribe. Subscription is quite free. Talking about the thyroid gland, we need to start with introduction to the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is an endocrine gland, and in fact it is the largest endocrine gland in the body. What do we mean by the word endocrine gland? If, for example, you have a gland, and whenever this gland secretes hormones, it moves through ducts into circulation. You call this type of gland exocrine gland. So exocrine glands are glands that has ducts. On the other hand, whenever you have a gland and the secretion enters directly into circulation without passing through ducts, we call these glands endocrine gland. So endocrine glands are ductless glands in simple terms. The largest endocrine gland in the body is called the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland also is the first endocrine gland to be developed. So take note of those 2 points. It is the largest endocrine gland, and it is the first endocrine gland to be developed in the body. With that, we move to the next aspect where we're talking about the location of the thyroid gland. Here is the thyroid gland located. For descriptive purpose, the thyroid gland is located in the neck, at the inferior aspect of the neck, lateral to the trachea and the larynx. So lateral to the trachea and the larynx, we are going to see what we refer to as the thyroid gland. With that, we move to the lobes of the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland has 2 lobes, both of them on each side of the neck. This is the right lobe, and let's call this the left lobe of the thyroid gland. These 2 lobes of the thyroid gland are connected by what we refer to as the isthmus. So the isthmus is what connects both lobes of the thyroid gland, both the right lobe and the left lobe. A very important point you have to remember is the location of the isthmus. Please take note that the trachea has about 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilaginous rings. The isthmus is located between the second and third ring of the trachea. The trachea has about 16 to 20 cartilaginous rings. The isthmus is located between the second to the third cartilaginous ring of the trachea. That is where you can see the isthmus. After knowing about this, I would like to give you a special note on the thyroid gland. We said the thyroid gland has 2 lobes, the right lobe and the left lobe. But in 50% of people, you may observe another lobe referred to as the pyramidal lobe. So they ask you how many lobes the thyroid gland has. Don't say 3, actually. It has 2 lobes. This occurs in some percent of people, which is 50% of people, pyramidal lobe. After knowing this about the thyroid gland, the next aspect we need to look about the thyroid gland is referred to as the neurovasculatures of the thyroid gland. Under this aspect, we'll be discussing on the arteries supplying the thyroid gland, the veins draining the thyroid gland, the lymphatics or the lymph nodes it drains to. We also talk about the nerve supply to the thyroid gland, and after this we can check the applied anatomy. Talking about the arteries supplying the thyroid gland, the arteries supplying the thyroid gland are majorly 2. The first one is called the superior thyroid artery. The superior thyroid artery. and the other is called the inferior thyroid artery. The potential question you are going to see: the superior thyroid artery is a branch of which artery? The superior thyroid artery is a branch of the external carotid artery. The external carotid artery. The external carotid artery gives rise to 8 branches. One of them is referred to as the superior thyroid artery. The superior thyroid artery supplies the anterior aspect and the posterior aspect of the thyroid gland. So the anterior and posterior aspect of the thyroid gland is supplied by the superior thyroid artery, which is a branch of what? External carotid artery. The inferior thyroid artery supplies the inferior aspect and the posterior aspect of the thyroid gland. The inferior thyroid artery is a branch of what we refer to as the thyrocervical trunk. You may have heard of that artery before, the thyrocervical trunk. It is the largest branch of the subclavian artery, of the thyrocervical trunk. The inferior thyroid artery is the largest branch of the thyrocervical trunk. Thyrocervical trunk. So let me repeat the arteries of the thyroid gland. We said it has the superior thyroid artery, is a branch of external carotid artery. The inferior thyroid artery, a branch of thyrocervical trunk, in fact the largest branch of thyrocervical trunk. And the thyrocervical trunk is a branch of the subclavian artery. So know that sequence. Inferior thyroid artery, a branch of thyrocervical trunk, and thyrocervical trunk is a branch of what? The subclavian artery. Very nice. So that's the artery that supplies the thyroid gland. With that, we talk about the veins that drains the thyroid gland. Unlike the arteries that supplies the thyroid gland, these are just 2. The veins that drains the thyroid gland are 3, and they are superior thyroid vein, middle thyroid vein, and the inferior thyroid vein. These veins that are draining the thyroid gland may be accompanying veins or non-accompanying veins. When you say accompanying veins, it simply means these veins may follow the course of the arteries. They follow the path where the arteries followed. When you say non-accompanying vein, they do not follow the path where the artery follows. The superior thyroid vein is an accompanying vein. It accompanies the superior thyroid artery. It drains the superior pole of the thyroid gland, because the thyroid gland has a superior pole and an inferior pole. So the superior pole of the thyroid gland is drained by the superior thyroid vein, which is an accompanying vein. The middle thyroid vein drains the middle aspect of the thyroid gland. The middle thyroid vein is not an accompanying vein. Instead, actually, the middle thyroid vein runs parallel to the inferior thyroid artery. Take note of that point. The middle thyroid vein runs parallel to the inferior thyroid artery. The inferior thyroid vein is not an accompanying vein. It is an independent vein. So remember that point. Superior thyroid vein, accompanying vein. Middle thyroid vein, it is not an accompanying vein. Instead, it runs parallel to the inferior thyroid artery, and the inferior thyroid vein is an independent vein. Just as you know, these veins may go to large veins. They drain to larger veins. So you may ask this in your exam. The superior thyroid vein and the middle thyroid vein drains into what large vein? The inferior thyroid vein drains into what large vein? Please remember this. The superior thyroid vein and the middle thyroid vein drains into the internal jugular vein. The superior thyroid vein and the middle thyroid vein drains into the internal jugular vein. And the inferior thyroid vein drains into what we refer to as the brachiocephalic vein. So this is the arterial supply and the venous drainage of the thyroid gland. In our next video, we'll just complete this aspect where we'll talk about the lymphatics of the thyroid gland, the nerve supply and the applied. On that same video, we are still going to give the review of the thyroid gland in general. Thank you very much. Please remember to subscribe.